Hello, welcome back. I am Lady T, and today for our Lanyap Thursday, in honor of Black History Month, I decided to visit the River Road African American Museum in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Now, due to the pandemic, I actually had to call and arrange to have this tour, but they're open. If you were to call, you could arrange as well to go and see the museum. Daryl, who was the curator of the museum, was very helpful and giving us a little bit of history. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know. When you look at it, it's not really just about Black history. It's about our history in America. Right here, we're looking at the Jazz Plaza and how jazz music actually got started.
This gives Louis Armstrong his start. And you see his name here, Joseph King Oliver, born right here. Gives Louis Armstrong his start. Louis Armstrong becomes the father of jazz. And so if he was the father, he gives him a start in his band at 15. We say that jazz originates from these rural parishes.
One of the rooms is Rural Roots of Jazz, where it spotlights those people that contributed to jazz as we know it today. And it's so many that were from this area that you may have not even known about. Like, listen to this tune. Does this sound familiar? If you guessed Pink Panther, then you're correct. But did you know that Plaza Johnson, who played the saxophone for the theme of Pink Panther, was from Donaldsonville, Louisiana? A little known Black history fact. This part of the museum is called Purchase Lives, and it's looking at New Orleans, which was one of the largest slave ports in the South. The French Quarters was an area where it was used like a slave pen and auction blocks to sell slaves.
And you see another device here, the spikes. And so if you were a runaway, or if you disobeyed whatever was going on and didn't do right, then they would punish you, and this would be put around your neck. And so the bells would make noise so they would know everywhere you went, so they could keep track. If you ran away and tried, it was hard for you to run away and try to keep those bells quiet and have that big heavy, because this is made out of, this ain't not aluminum, this is that old cast iron.
Another interesting fact that I learned was New Year's Day was a day when slaves were sold. So a lot of times that would be a sad day because your family may be split up. A mother may be separated from her child, or the person who she was, married to. So it was a day that you could actually be split up and sold to someone else that you would never see your family again. I don't know if any of you ever heard of paying your society fees or dues, but growing up, I always heard my grandmother say she had to pay the society fees, and she was to pay it for herself, my grandfather, and her children. And this was so if something happened to them, if any one of them died, that they would have a burial plot that was paid for. And little did I know the history behind that until I went to the museum and I found out this was started because white insurance companies wouldn't insure Black people, so they started their own little society of being able to pay for their burial plots.
Wealth chart here. These are all of the slave owners in Ascension Parish. One of them was Duncan Kenner, who Kenner, Louisiana is named after. He owned the Ashland Belle Helene plantation. John Burnside here, who Burnside, Louisiana is named after. 753 enslaved. Look at his value.
Oh, wow.
And you can see the numbers here, smaller, 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 smaller. And their value.
One of the things Louisiana is known for is our cooking. So the museum does spotlight how African has influenced the cooking in Louisiana.
Black inventions, we talk about foodways. Blacks, as you know, we control the kitchen. This was our job. It was our life. It was our love for food. Okra comes from Africa. The seeds in the okra plant were placed in the braids of the Africans. Okra comes to America. Okra in the African language is gumbo. So when we say gumbo or okra gumbo, we're really saying gumbo gumbo, because okra is gumbo and gumbo is okra. Red beans and rice, we cook red beans and rice on Monday. Why?
It's a wash day.
Yes, you can put the clothes on, you can wash all day, and by the time you finish, the beans will be done. Today we still cook red beans and rice on Monday.
Yeah.
Ironing, cooking, cleaning, washing, we did it all. Women could not wear their hair out, so they had to tie their hair up, and that was part of cultural disguise to keep you from showing your hair, especially if you're a Creole. Curtains that you see here came out of a house around the corner. These are actually sugar sacks, and these is linen. The sugar used to come in linen sacks, and they would save that sack and use it to make dresses, to make shirts, to make curtains. Once you wash it, all of the writing will come.
The museum also looks at Louisiana Black inventors, such as Madam C.J. Walker, who was born on a cotton plantation in Louisiana. She went on to become one of America's first female self-made millionaires. I did not know she was from Louisiana. Another little-known Black history fact. Well, I hope you have enjoyed our Lagniappe Thursday and our tribute to Black History Month at the River Road African American Museum in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. I want to thank our tour guide, Daryl. He did such an outstanding job of just telling and sharing the history of the river parishes in Louisiana. I would encourage you, especially if you live in the area, to go and visit the museum. I was only able to hit the highlights in this video, but hopefully this has made you want to go and see more for yourself. I learned so much. I do plan on going back to do a bike ride tour of Donaldsonville. So I'm a history buff. I love any kind of history. I just think it's worth knowing and worth sharing. So don't forget to show your support for the channel, subscribe, like, and share the video. Have a great week.